Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Kora Mangala Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Dhirayate Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Meshwaram. Hare Krishna devotees. Welcome you all for this Sunday morning Bhagavatam, Mangalarti and Bhagavatam discussion at Koramangala Center. So we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter, prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved, sloka number 42. Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrat ratim udavatat adaha Ganga eva ugamam udanvati Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate asakrat ratim udhavatat adaha Ganga eva ugamam udanvati Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrat ratim udhavatat adaha Ganga eva ugamam udanvati. Hare Krishna devotees can recite the sloka. Can I request devotees to recite? His Grace Vijayan Gopal Prabhu, please can I request? Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe Asha Jagannath Prabhu, Prasannath Prabhu, please go ahead.
Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhupate sakrat ratim vadvahatad adham gange vegam udanvati.
Others, please go ahead.
त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते रतिम उद्वसत् अथा गंगे वौघम उदन्वती
त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहातद् अधा गंगे वाघौ उदन्वती.
Anyone else? If not, Mataji's.
त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर् मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वाहतात् अद्धा गंगे वोघम् उदन्वते
त्वयि मे
अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वाहतात् अद्धा गंगे वौघम् उदन्वती
त्वयि
मे अन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहतात् अद्धा गंगे वौघम् उदन्वती
त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वाहतात् अथा गंगे वाघम् उदान्वती
Anyone else want to try? Okay, so on synonyms, so please repeat after me, possible. Twai, unto you,
unto you,
may, my, Ananya Vishaya,
अनन्य विषया
unallied, Matihi, attention,
attention
Madhupathe,
मधुपते
O Lord of Madhu,
Madhu,
Asakrit,
असकृत्
continuously,
continuously
Ratim,
रतिम
attraction,
attraction
Udvahatat,
उद्वहतात्
may overflow,
में
Adaha,
अतः
directly,
directly
Ganga,
गंगा
the Ganges,
the Ganges
Iva,
इवा
like,
like
Ogham,
ओघम
flows,
flow
Udanmati,
उदन्वती
down to the sea.
down to the sea.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Lord of Madhu,
Lord of
as
Madhu,
the Ganges flow forever flows
as the Ganges forever flows
to the sea without hindrance,
to the sea without hindrance,
let my attraction
let my attraction
be constantly drawn unto you,
be constantly drawn unto you,
without being diverted to anyone else.
without being diverted to anyone else.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Prabhupada Ki Jai. The perfection of devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of their finer elements, like affection for someone else. This is not possible. Living being, whoever he may be, he must have this feeling of affection for others, because this is a symptom of life. Symptom of life such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc. cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. The desire cannot be negated, but devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. consist of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita, we can see that Arjuna desired not to fight with his brothers and his relations just to satisfy. Sorry, in Bhagavad Gita, we see Arjuna desired not to fight with his brothers and a relation with satisfy his own personal desire. But when he heard message of Lord, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he changed his decision and served the Lord. And for his doing so, he became a famous devotee of the Lord. For it is declared in all scriptures that Arjuna attained spiritual perfection by devotional service to the Lord in friendship. The fighting was there, friendship was there, Arjuna was there, and Krishna was there. But Arjuna became a different person by devotional service. Therefore, the prayers of Kunti also indicate the same categorical changes in activities. Srimati Kunti wanted to serve the Lord without diversion, and that was her prayer. This unallied devotion is the ultimate goal of life. Our attention is usually diverted to the service of something which is non-godly or not in the program of Lord. When the program is changed into service of the Lord, that is to say, when the senses are purified in relation with the service of the Lord, it is called pure unallied devotional service. Srimati Kunti Devi wanted that perfection and prayer for it from the Lord. Her affection for the Pandavas and Vrishnis is not out of range of devotional services, because the service of the Lord and service of the devotee are identical. Sometimes service to the devotee is more valuable than service to the Lord. But here the affection of Kunti Devi for the Pandavas and Vrishnis was due to family relation. This tie of affection in terms of material relation is the relation of Maya, because the relations of body or mind are due to the influence of the external energy. The relation of the soul established in relation with the Supreme Soul are factual relationship. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relationship, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to the soul can be established by via media of the relation with the super soul. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. That is the way of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताकस्वामिति नामिने। नमः आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपपदायिने कथाधामदाय नगरगमनतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So, Hare Krishna devotees, once again, welcome for this Sunday program. Before I start speaking, I would like to seek the blessings of His Grace Vijayavan Gopal Prabhu and Her Grace Prempadini Mataji, and also all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis assembled here, so that I can speak few words for the pleasure of the Lord and for the benefit of the devotees and my own purifications. Please bless me. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. So as usual, my request is that those who can keep their video on, keep the video on. Also, my request is that if you can keep pen and paper with you, note down the points. And maybe one request for Amit Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Can I request during the discussion, whatever the points are there, make note of some questions. at the end, if you can ask this question, it becomes kind of revision of the discussion also. Around 10 questions you can note down. At the end, if you can ask, that'll be great, possible.
Okay.
Okay. So all others, keep the sound muted, audio possible on, otherwise we'll continue like this. Okay. So would like to continue where His Grace Asha Jagannath Prabhu left in the last class. We had a very wonderful class last week. Prabhu has very nicely explained the Kunti's prayer in relation with our life, with the nice stories and analogy. Would like to continue from there. So here Kunti Devi is the previous verse. She's saying that Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Didam Pandushu Vishnishu. She says severe my ties of affection for kinsmen and Pandavas and Vishnis. Because here Prabhupada also says that this is because she is connected with those two families as a grihastha, as a family. So today's discussion, whole discussion will be as a grihastha. So we'll try to cover what are the kind of prevention what we can do as a grihastha, what are the sins what we normally tend to do, and what are the attachment we normally have, and what is the solutions. So these are the 4 areas: the prevention and attachment, sin, and the solution. These are the 4 or 5 areas we'll try to discuss, we'll try to cover in discussion. So please make note of points. I'm not sharing this out of my realization, because if you ask me, my heart is full of contamination. I'm not ideal grihastha. I'm not so good to speak on that. So I'm trying to speak here whatever Prabhupada has written and Acharya said, and wherever possible I try to quote what Prabhupada has mentioned, so that I'm not concocting myself. So my heart is full of contamination, so it's not my realization. It's because I'm kind of rascal number 1 myself, so I cannot share realization. So I'm just trying to give whatever I heard and whatever I read. So first and foremost here, we are talking about grihasthas. So majority of us are grihasthas or want to become grihasthas. So it's relevant for all of us, so that we can also have something to take away from this discussion today. So as a grihasthas, we have a certain privilege, certain kind of privilege given for sense gratifications, which in other ashramas like brahmachari or vanapasta or sannyasis, they're not allowed to do it. So that is a kind of a privilege given to us. Then that privilege, how we make use of it, how we engage ourselves, that is what is the important point we need to discuss. So that's why Kunti Devi is in this particular sloka, she's saying, let my attention flow like Ganges flowing to the sea. Single attention, how I can flow towards you. So see the connection between the previous verse and here. The previous verse she's saying, let all my connection be with the family to be cut off and my attention to be flown to them. So this exactly we are trying to discuss here, So generally, we are seeing different levels of bhaktas. So sometimes we say we are also trying to do bhakti. Sometimes when we preach, everybody says, yes, we are also doing bhakti. So there is a difference between what is bhakti and bhaktyabhas. Like chanting with the attention and without attention. So like similarly, bhaktabhas, like people are thinking that is a bhakti, but it's not actually bhakti. So that is like their desire for sense enjoyment or name, fame is all included in that. So that is not actually bhakti. So as a grihasthas, we should be a bit careful on this. What are we trying to do? In the name of bhakti, are we doing sense gratifications? That is the point we need to meditate upon it and see, in our life itself. So as a grihasthas, we have a attachment. We have our attachment is sometimes considered like a banyan tree, which is deep rooted. It cannot be uprooted. The greatest wind cannot uproot this banyan tree, because this has got so much deep rooted in our life and our heart. So this uprooting this attachment, like Kunti Devi is saying, cut off, it's not easy. Prabhupada says that it's not easy, and Prabhupada also says that we need not try to detach because it's part of our life. We have to change our activities. When activities change, it's naturally happen. Don't try to do it which is not possible, because our attachment is so strong. So generally when we plan to do certain sense enjoyment, so actually one of the, like Prabhu was saying that actually Krishna laughs at, so because our plans for sense enjoyment may not be granted every time, but our plans for the pleasure of Krishna will be granted. So whenever we try to do something for the pleasure of Krishna, that's easily granted and easily supported by Krishna. So now as a grahasthas, where we start? Our life starts from the childhood. Maybe some of us did not have this opportunity to being with the devotees. At least our kids, our children, they have this opportunity. They are that way, they are more fortunate. So what is our duty? Our duty, especially Prabhupada says that boys to be trained as a brahmacharis and girls to be trained as a chaste girl. And once this activity, for example, for a boy is given as 25 years of study and in the brahmacharya ashrama, so that when even if enter into the grahastha ashrama, he knows exactly what is the role of grahastha and what is to be done. So he doesn't become a grahamedi. So there's a difference between grahastha and grahamedi. Grahastha, he uses everything for the service of the Lord, and whereas grahamedi uses for everything for his sense gratification. Now, the other side, a girl has to be taught how the chastity, how the one-point attention towards her husband is there, so that both can serve together. Now, once these two things happen, then we should get them married if the boy want to get into the grahastha ashrama. At the same time, Prabhupada says every girl has to be married. Now, so before marriage, so the certain points we need to understand, like one of the lecture is Grace Jagasaksh Prabhu says that if you marry off a girl with the Brahmanical quality to a boy of a Shudra quality, that will not work. Or other way around, if a girl of Shudra quality with the boy of a Brahmanical quality, that's all will not work. That's the reason the olden days, the parents used to arrange marriage. Not only the parents, the local guru, the astrologer, one who knows those families, they just know the family. They know the kids from the childhood. They know their nature. So accordingly, they arrange the marriage so that the marriage becomes successful. But today, what happens that it's everything the girl or boy decides. So someone is saying that love at first sight, divorce at first sight. That's exactly happens. But this is not our Vedic culture. Vedic culture is we go through the process. Here the astrology or the horoscope, more than horoscope and astrology, the nature of the boy and girl and their family, their varna, ashrama, I mean, their varna is more important than, so that they both can live together. So actually in third canto, when the discussion between Diti and Kashyapa, that's the time Srila Prabhupada says it is the responsibility of the father to get married of this daughter. Not even, he doesn't say even parents, it's father. Because father has got a better responsibility or more responsibility. Like Chanakya Pandita says that the 50% of the family's wives and children's sin goes to husband or father. Of course, he has to go through his own sin. In addition to that, he has to take 50% of the sins of his wife and children. So here, that is the reason he has got more responsibility. But today what happens, the wife, kind of husband goes out to work, and wife maybe staying at home, wife also working. In both cases, the husband more prone to commit sins, because when he's going out, every possibility that he make more mistakes or sins, and he has to go through that sin also. We'll cover later in the part what are sins normally we do. Now, so what is the prevention here? The prevention for especially the devotees, the first and foremost is that always husband wife try to stay together. That is the first and foremost point. If any job reason the husband is traveling somewhere else, wife possible try to go with him, stay together. Even same in the discussion with the Kashyapa and Aditi, Prabhupada says wife is like a fortress, was a kind of a guardian of the senses of the husband, and at the same time the husband has the responsibility to protect wife. Leaving them alone, there is every possibility that they can commit mistakes. So again, I'm coming to prevention is better than cure. Is after something going wrong, blaming one person is not right, then prevent it. Go with him, stay together. Even to the extent, if husband wife do some business or consultancy, whatever, do together than working separately. Suppose if the husband wife both are doctors, kind of do together, same clinic, or husband wife both are business, do together. The wife go and support husband. Actually, in the same purpose, Srila Prabhupada says the duty of wife is to not only help husband in spiritual, not that, and also help him in his material also. Prabhupada make it very clear that the wife has to support the husband in the material duties also, because the husband's job is to earn money or wealth for the protection and taking care of the family. There he needs a support. If not, he tend to commit mistakes, commit sins, and that sin he will not be able to cover it up, because he is not involved in devotional services. So he is working out, his time is minimum. So wife has to take care of that so that he is protected. So that is the point. So stay together, do activities together, and serve Srila Prabhupada's movement or whatever the service we are doing together, not separate. Because as soon as we do step separately, there is a possibility that we can make mistakes. Because there is Maya is so strong, so we can get attracted to, because senses are so dangerous. So that's why always stay together, be a protector of each one. So that is the first and foremost point we are trying to make here. Now let's talk about attachment, the different attachment we have, especially in the mammal life. By one point I remember my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. So whenever there is a marriage, he makes a list of vows for boy and girl, so that they know exactly what is their duties and responsibilities. It's not they'll just get married and leave them whatever they want to do. Their duties and responsibilities are defined. Recently, one of the marriages, Shivala Prabhu's, of course, Prabhu Mataji has also attended that. Guru Maharaj has given a list of responsibilities and made them read out and sign. So that is what required in the future. As a grihasthas, that is where we need to lead to. Now, coming back to the what are the attachment. So generally, we have attachment for body. So this can be out of ignorance, or because we being in this body, we are kind of many times we think ourselves, I'm the body. Of course, we all know that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. But with this point, Srila Prabhupada in every lecture, every purport, he stresses that, because once I think some devotees asked this question, why Prabhupada, every time you keep stressing this? So Prabhupada said, did you really understood you are not this body? So that is the point. So even after reading, hearing so many times, we are not realized that we are not this body, we are spirit souls. So our way of thinking, our activities should change accordingly. So the first attachment is to this body. So next attachment is to the relatives, family members. So Prabhupada makes it very clear that that cannot be cut off. That is nature, by natural is there. Like Prabhupada gives example of Arjuna. So how he was refusing to fight, but when he heard Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, he understood what is his duty, what is actual attachment, to whom I should attach. So this is the point you need to understand. Here I would like to narrate one story. So there was a businessman. He was constructing a big palatial house. So one day he was giving instruction to the engineers. My house should be like this. Here should be my son's room. Here should be my bedroom, like that. So when he was explaining this, there was a sage passing by. The sage stopped there and started laughing. He was loudly laughing. So this businessman got surprised. What happened? But that sage left. After a few days, the businessman was at home. He was feeding his son from the plate, and the boy urinated on the same plate. So that time he called out his wife and said that, see, the boy has urinated on the plate. So the wife said, Putra Mutra Amrita, you drink it. So when she said this, the same sage was standing outside and started laughing again. So now again this businessman got a bit bewildered. So went on. After some time, the businessman was sitting at his business, the shop. So one day, this one goat came running to the shop, and behind that goat was a butcher with the sharp knife is coming behind. So the goat came inside the shop and wanted a shelter, so to protect itself from the butcher. So initially, this businessman thought, little compassion for the goat, and he told the butcher, "Don't kill him. I'll give some money." So the butcher asked maybe certain money, and this businessman, as a businessman, started bargaining. And finally, he didn't give what the money butcher wanted, and the butcher dragged this goat and took away. When that is happening, again, the same sage was standing and laughing. So this time, the businessman came out and spoken to this sage and asked him, "My dear sage, why are you laughing? I see in 2-3 places you are doing this. Why?" Then the sage said, "Do you really want to listen?" So he said, "Yes." Then he said, "The boy, the son to whom you are feeding, and the urination, what your wife is telling, Putra Mutra Amrita, drink it, and that boy was your wife's lover, whom you killed yourself a few years back. And you are building this house, palatial, for whom? The same boy whom you killed in the previous life, who was your wife's lover. And the goat who came to your shop, he was your father, who wanted the protection from you. You, for a few rupees, you refused to protect him." So this is the nature of attachment for family life. We don't understand what is actually we are doing. Further, the next attachment comes to the properties, land, building, properties, possessions, money, wealth. And Prabhupada says here, our country, nation, all these are connected to the body. The extended family, Prabhupada says that our society, country, or nation is extended family attachment. I'm Indian, American, I'm Chinese, I'm Pakistanis. These are all connected to that. This is the second level of, third level of attachment. Next comes the attachment to the knowledge, the intelligence and possessions, knowledge possessions I have. Like our scientists, Prabhupada always condemned this kind of scientists who are using this knowledge for propagating the wrong information. So Gyanis. So these are the people, they may be having 3, 4 or PhDs in their visiting card, but they have no knowledge of the real life of the knowledge. Like for example, in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Brahman, when he was reading Bhagavad Gita in Ulta, because he was illiterate, he didn't know what is that. But Prabhupada said that, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that you are the real devotee, because that Brahmana realized the position of Krishna. He was crying because how could the Supreme Lord taken a service, taken a service of being a chariot driver for his devotee? So that is the real knowledge. Whereas the people with the multiple PhDs, they may not have this knowledge. They don't have the knowledge how to serve the Lord. Our intelligence also cannot work unless we connect to the Supreme Lord. So that's why Prabhupada also, many times when the devotees started, reading too much unwanted, books and knowledge, Prabhupada was always not encouraging that. Prabhupada was very clear. Read prescribed books. Go step by step. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, NOD. These are the basics. Don't try to do so many readings, so many things, because you are more important to preaching. Our mission is preaching mission. Our jnana is required for preaching and self-purification. That's it. Not for the sake of show off. So that's another attachment for our knowledge. Here, like narrate a story of there was a sculptor, the very intelligent, very nicely he is to create so many deities, sculpture. So one day he realized that he's going to die. He got this knowledge, so he thought he can use his intelligence. What he did, he created the statue like him, the 5 statue exactly like him, and he knew exactly what time the Yamadutta was going to come. So that day he created this 5 statues and he stood in middle. So other side 2, this side 3, and he stood in the middle. So Yamaduttas came, they were looking for this person. So Yamaduttas got confused because Yamadutta got instruction to take 1 person, but here you can see 6. So 5 plus 1, 6. So they were a bit confused. So they were discussing each other. So did we make mistake? Did we came to a wrong address? So then one Yamadutta said, maybe let's try this. So first one Yamadutta started glorifying him. This sculpture, saying that he is so nice, he did so many things. So, and they were observing the facial expression of each the deity, because this man standing in between, he was exactly behaving like a murti. He was not moving even a single inch. Eyes are not blinking. Everything perfectly okay. So, but this doesn't work. Then other Yamadutta said, now let me try this. He started blaspheming him, started abusing him, all the bad words. Then they could see his face becoming red, eyes becoming red. Then said, yeah, catch hold of him. This is the person. So the point I'm saying that our intelligence also cannot work in front of Yamaduttas, in front of Yamaraj and Krishna. Krishna is the greatest intelligence. So our intelligent attachment to our knowledge cannot work. And last intelligent is that attachment is rituals. Many times we are more focused to rituals than the real process. So that's why we always say that when we are spiritual, our spirit is more important than the ritual. What we do ritual for the spirit, that why are doing it, that is more important. Like we know the story of when Krishna and Balram were in the Vrindavan, they were hungry. They asked Gopas, go and get something from the Brahmanas who were arranging for elaborate yajna. The Brahmanas refused because they were doing elaborate ritual, but they didn't realize what is the purpose of it. So that attraction to the ritual is also an attachment, which is not right. So in this connection, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj narrates a story of a devotee called Atmadeva. We all know the story from this one. What is that called? Okay, I forgot. Okay, so this story goes like this. Atmadeva is he was having no children, so he wanted to have a children. So he was doing a lot of rituals, but at the same time he was so rich, and his wife was kind of so stingy, and she was cursing everybody. She was accumulating wealth. So this man wanted to have a son, so he went to the forest. So one day he met a sage. So when the sage met, he requested sage, please bless me, have a son. But sage said, you are not destined to have a son. So, so you don't bother about it. He said, no, no, how can I have, without son, how can I live? How my forefathers oblation will be given? All those things he was saying. So finally he said, so if you are really insisting so much, I'll give a fruit. I'll do some, mantra patana and give the fruit. Take this and give it to your wife. She will become pregnant. So he brought this fruit and gave it to his wife and told her to eat. And of course, maintain certain rituals for 1 year time. The wife was so cunning. So because she was thinking that if I eat this fruit, then I have to do so many rituals, I cannot enjoy, I cannot do this. So she had discussion with her sister, and sister was, married. So they made an agreement that the sister said, okay, I will conceive, I'll give that baby to you. You tell lie that it is your baby. And this fruit was given to a cow. So after a year, the sister delivered, and they, as a planned, they shown this baby as this kind of lady's son. That son was named Dundukari, and by the time the cow also gave a birth to a boy, human. So that boy was named Gokarna. So later, this Dundukari, the son of, becomes such a criminal, such a notorious person, and he started doing all kind of nonsense. And finally, he killed parents, Atmadeva and his wife, and he was having association with so many prostitutes, and it was going on. Other side, the Gokarna, the son of the cow, was doing a lot of social service, rituals and spiritual activities. And he was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam wherever he goes. And finally, the friends, ladies of, this Dundukari, the 5 prostitutes, they themselves killed this Dundukari, and this Dundukari became a ghost. So later, one day, Gokarna came to that village. This ghost started pleading in front of Gokarna, saying that, please help me to relieve myself. So that's the time Gokarna arranges reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So for 7 days reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, this Dundukari gets the, liberated from the ghost body, and, gets the human body and gets relieved. So the point here is that the attachment to the body of Atmadeva and relative, and also Dundukari, resulted in becoming a ghost. And this Gokarna, just attaching to Srimad Bhagavatam, is not only helped his brother and the whole society. So that is the diversion required. Srila Prabhupada is saying activity is the same, diverted to the different activities. Now let's move on to what kind of a debt we are going through it. So mainly we have a debt. One second. Okay. So we have a debt for sages, and the debt for guru and sages is first and foremost. One of the lecture, when Srila Prabhupada was asked by his disciple, Srila Prabhupada, how can I pay back the debt you are given to us? So Prabhupada said, you cannot give back the debt. Only thing you can do is that help me in preaching the Krishna consciousness to others. That's the only thing we can do. So that's the foremost debt we have. So we have debt of Srila Prabhupada. Because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are here today. Whatever little Krishna consciousness we got is because of his mercy. Now it's our responsibility to give it to others, so that at least we are able to do little payback to, of course we cannot pay back, at little service to Srila Prabhupada. So that's the first debt. And next we have a debt to our forefathers, Pitras, because our body comes from that, and we have the debt for them. And we have a debt for relatives or body relatives. We have a debt for servants, and we have debt for devatas, Devi Devata, demigods, because Krishna says that they are my representatives. So we serve them. If Devi Devatas are happy, if Devi Devatas taken care nicely, all things will happen in the society nicely, because end of the day, end of the activity, they are serving Krishna nicely. So our job is to take care everything nicely. So why? Because as a grihastha, it's our responsibility to take care of all those things. So other brahmacharis or vanaprastha or sannyasis, they cannot earn money. So it's grihastha who earns money and supports other family, other three classes of men. So that is the point we need to make it. So we have this debts. Then we commit certain sins. So in Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, 3rd canto, 8th chapter, 13th verse, Srila Prabhupada says in New York, 20th May 1966, he says there are 5 types of sin normally a grihastha does this. While lighting a fire for cooking, there's so many living entities that gets killed. So we commit sin by killing them. While cleaning the house, so many insects, so many small living entities gets killed. While drinking water or boiling water, pouring water, so many living entities gets killed. While grinding, so many living entities gets killed. While walking on the street, we stamp on so many ants or so many other living entities, so gets killed. So these are the sins, many times unknowingly doing it. But of course, we cannot do sins knowingly. That's why Srila Prabhupada made it very, very strict on the 4 related principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. But these are the sins which we are doing or which will tend to do unknowingly. So for that also, we have to go through the punishment. So that's why Kunti Maharani is saying in this verses, Tvayi me ananya vishaya matir madhupate akrit. Whole lot of madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn onto you without being diverted anyone else. So with that, we can burn certain of the things. Like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about the 5 topics: Paramatma, Atma, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. So Prabhupada says this 4 Paramatma, Atma, Prakriti, and Kala, we cannot change it. But karma, we can change. We can burn certain karma by the devotion service. Activities to the Lord can burn certain karma, certain portion of the karma. So that's why Kunti Maharani says, let my attention be focused to you. As river Ganges flows to the ocean, 1 point attention. So that's what we need to, as a grihasthas, need to understand that. Now comes to what are the sacrifice. So Prabhupada talks about Panchamahagya. So what are the sacrifice as a grihasthas we are supposed to do? So Prabhupada says that Bhutayagya, even before that Devayagya. Devayagya is fire sacrifice. So in Vedic rituals, there are so many sacrifices. But Prabhupada says that for devotee, Krishna conscious devotees, that yagya is deity worship. If you do proper deity worship, Deva yagya is done. No elaborate kind of sacrifice not required, because we may not find the qualified brahmanas or the kind of a pure ingredients for that. So the best process for Deva yagya is to deity worship. Whatever we are supposed to do as grihastha, do it in our home as deity worship. Next comes Bhuta Yagya. Bhuta Yagya means the serving other living entities. That's why we are not here to just serve the humanity, every living entity. So Prabhupada says the best way to distribute prasadam. So serve living entities by distributing Krishna Prasad. So not only for the human, for every living entity. That's why in olden days, whenever they cook, first they keep certain food outside for ants and crows and other birds. And then they call out, if there is anybody who are hungry, 3 times, and wait for them. If they come, they'll feed them. So that is the Bhuta Yagya, for serving all other living entities. So as a devotees, serve Krishna Prasad to other living entities, not only human, for other living entities. So that is a Bhuta Yagya. Then comes Atiti Yagya. So Atiti means the person who comes without titi, Atiti. So one comes without appointment. So if somebody calls and said, Prabhu, I'm coming so-and-so date to your house. So if you feed them, that is not Atiti Yagya. That is your duty. Somebody comes without notice, you give everything what you have without you are eating yourself. That is atithi. That is atithi service. So that is the what required. So here Prabhupada says how Priti Lakshana happens between devotees, how we serve other devotees, how we reciprocate our Priti Lakshana. That's what shows the Atithi Lakshana here, Atithi Yagya. Then comes Shastra Yagya. Shastra Yagya is again not going back to reading so many Vedas, Rig Veda, by hearting. No. Prabhupada talks about read scriptures what recommended by Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever level you have it, but read it and understand it. That is the Shastra Yagya. Then comes Mantra Yagya. Mantra Yagya is like, again, don't try to realize, I mean, by heart so many mantra. Simple Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant this mantra loudly so that not only you get benefit, other living entities also gets benefit. So this is a mantra yagya for devotees. Then comes Pitra Yagya. Pitra Yagya is how we perform Shraddha ceremony for our Pitras. So again, Prabhupada is very, very clear. We don't have to go to, our kind of Brahmins who are not into Krishna conscious activities. You do kind of a Harinam and offer Bhoga to Krishna and distribute that prasad to the devotees. And of course, give that to your Pitras and then give it to others. So that is Shraddha ceremony or Pitri Yagya we can do. So this is the way as a Grihastha need to perform Deva Yagya, Bhuta Yagya, and Atithi Yagya, and Shastra Yagya, Mantra Yagya, and Pitri Yagya. So as a devotee Grihastha, these are the basic duties we have towards other societies. Now comes to discussion between Krishna and Uddhava in the 11th canto. There are few verses where Lord Krishna is very, very categorically saying what are the duty of a Grihastha. 11.1750, Krishna says, one in the Grihastha order of life should daily worship sages by Vedic study, forefathers by offering mantra, swada, and demigods by chanting swaha, all the living entities by offering shares of one's meals, and human beings by offering grains and water. Thus, considering the demigods, sages, forefathers, living entities, and the human beings to be manifestation of my potency, one should daily perform these 5 sacrifices. So the Krishna is making it clear, like what as a Grihastha, what we should do. And Lord Krishna personally set this example. When Nanda Maharaj was there, daily he was doing charity, all these activities happening. And later, Lord Krishna himself, Grihastha, did all this in such a certain example for us. So this is a householder's responsibility. Further, Lord Krishna says, a householder should comfortably maintain his dependence either with money that comes of its own accord or with that gathered by the honest execution of one's duties. According to one's means, one should perform sacrifices and other religious ceremonies. So here Lord Krishna is saying how we should earn money and utilize it. I remember once we were in Abu Dhabi, we asked this question to His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu, because at that time we're thinking, okay, enough earned, let me go back and retire. So Kaunteya Prabhu said, no. He said, your duty is not just your family. If you think that I have this much money and enough for my family, he said, no, your family is not just your responsibility. You have responsibility to the brahmacharis, you have responsibility to the sannyasis, vanaprasthas, temple, and other living entities. Everything is your responsibility. As a grihastha, it's your responsibility to take care of them. So you just, when Krishna has given you the opportunity to earn, don't think that renouncing is your responsibility. No, don't renounce it. Earn and go with the Srila Rupa Goswami's directions. Rupa Goswami said, use it 50% for Krishna conscious activities. So that is the way, use it, and that is a real Krishna conscious activity. That's the way we serve Srila Prabhupada movement. That is a real Krishna conscious activity as a Grihasthas. So don't kind of hesitantly kind of retire and start thinking that enough for me. No, it's because your responsibility not me alone. My responsibility is not me alone, not my family. I have responsibility towards other ashramas like brahmacharis, vanaprastha, and temples, and all those things. So next, Lord Krishna says that here the association of children, wife, relatives, friends is just like a brief meeting of travelers. With each change of body, one is separated from such association, and just as one loses objects in one's possession in the dream, and dream is over. So as a grahasthas, our children, family, wife, all these are like a dream. As soon as the dream is over, this relationship is over, because when I leave this body, the next body, or if at all, if I don't go back, so I don't have this relationship. Maybe I will be somewhere else. So like Prabhupada many times mentioned that, like in a river, the flow, the straw get assembled in one corner for some time. After the blow of another, the wind, that gets dispersed and they go separately. They meet somewhere else. So that is the family attachment we have. And next, Lord Krishna says, deeply considering the actual situation, liberated soul live at home just like a guest, without any sense of proprietorship or false ego. In this way, he will not be bound or entangled by domestic affairs. So Krishna says, don't consider this is your house. So that's why he said that Allide Namamane Illirudu Sumane. We are here for temporary. Our actual home is Golok Vrindavan. So this is you are tenant here. That till the Yamaraj or Vishnudutas comes, we are tenant here. The day Vishnuduta or Yamaduta comes, we have to leave. That time we have no kind of argument. We are just leave and go. So with that, Lord Krishna is saying, with that understanding, take care of your family and live in this house. So further, Krishna says that a household devotee who worships me by execution of his family duties may remain at home, go to the holy places, or if he has responsible son, take sannyas. So last class, His Grace Sashi Jagannath Prabhu mentioned of vanaprasthas. So here Lord Krishna is making it clear how you hand over the responsibility to your responsible son, then move on to vanaprastha. So then after that, if you have time, go to sannyas. So vanaprastha, Srila Prabhupada said that not to go to vana, because we don't have vana. Now we have responsibility towards preaching. I remember when I was coming back from Abu Dhabi 4 years before, I wrote to my Guru Maharaj, what should I do? So in the reply, he never mentioned that give up your job. He said that go and help devotees there, help local temple, preach, earn money and support them. So because you are qualified to work and earn, so don't misuse it. Use it for Krishna service. Don't say that no, enough for me. So he made it very clear in his letter to me, saying that you serve and earn so that we can help Srila Prabhupada's movement. So that's what Krishna is saying. Further, householder whose mind is attached to his form and is thus disturbed by the ardent desire to enjoy his money and children, and who is lusty after woman, who is possessed of miserly mentality, who is unintelligent thinking, everything is mine and I am everything, is certainly bound by illusion. So Krishna is making it clear to Uddhava when discussion with Uddhava is that, so if you think that is mine and everything belongs to me, I am bound to go in the illusion, I am go to hell. So next verse, Lord Krishna says that, oh my poor elderly parents and my wife, and with mere infant of arms and my other young children, without me there are absolutely no one to protect them, will suffer unbearably. How can we, my poor relatives, possibly think of without me? So this is the normal householder thinking that now I have a wife, I have kids, after some time I have grandchildren, I have so many attachment, so many things to take care. When can I leave? so I'll not get time to leave at all. So that's why Kunti Maharani is saying that previous verse, cut off my relation with the Pandavas and Vishnus and let my focus be one point, single point attention to you, Lord, O Madhupate, O Lord of Madhu, let my attention be to you. So that should be the Grihastha's, single point of attention, so that we can serve Krishna and progress in our bhakti, at the same time help others to progress in Krishna consciousness. So just to conclude, before we end, so Grihastha has got some extra permission to enjoy senses compared to Brahmachari and Sannyasis, Vanaprasthas, but don't misuse it, use it. Prevention is better than cure. Don't wait for the problems to happen. Husband, wife, stay together, and boys and girls, train them nicely, get them married as per their work, guna, their nature, because don't look at external beauty or the intelligence. Is more than that, is what is the nature of that person is important. So it said that in olden days, when the boy and girl look at the boys, the family, and the first, by nature, family, and his wealth is, and then health and wealth. But today his wealth is taken first, then health, wealth is first, health next, and the family, character is all last. So in olden days, character is taken first priority. If the character is good, even if he doesn't have wealth, if he has got some health problem, still character is good, we'll select them. But today the wealth is taken a priority, and the character and health is given a least importance. So that is the most important. Look at the character of both boy and girl, get them married, and both husband and wife stay together. For sake of money, don't leave them alone. Stay together, serve together, work together, earn together, and so that we can protect each other as a grihastha, because Krishna consciousness is more wealthier than the money. Of course, we have a responsibility towards the other ashramas and the society, but at the same time, we have to, Krishna, don't leave other person to get entangled with the problems. And then even Krishna conscious activity and preaching activity also, do it together wherever possible, and help other society. Finally, help Srila Prabhupada's movement, Krishna conscious, spreading Krishna conscious movement, so that we have little payback towards Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada's movement reaches out to as many people as possible. That is the real success of Grihastha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So any comments? Maybe again, I would have made some wrong comments, mistakes. Please correct me. I request other senior devotees to please correct me if I made a mistake. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. I'll stop here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I ask a doubt?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, ಇದು ಪಕ್ಷ ಮಾಸ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಪಿತೃಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಹಾಗಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಆತ್ಮ ಬಂದು ತಗೊಳತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಹ ಧಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆ ಆತ್ಮ ಬಂದು ನಾವು ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೋ ಅದು ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಪಿಂಡದಾನ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ATM ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಹಾಗೆ ಅದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸರಿ, I had only this doubt, but when the body is already they have got the body, or they're still in that stage, or how it is, how can we do that?
Okay, understood. So Mataji's question is that, of course, I tell in English also, so other devotees understand. So when we do Shraddha, the left body, the soul would have taken different bodies or different planets, whatever. So how when we offer oblation, how that soul gets. So in Pitraloka, there are demigods who are responsible for this. So their job is to take this food or oblation what we offered and give it to that particular soul wherever is that. That particular soul could be in a different body, or could be in hell, or could be in heaven. So wherever that body, that soul is there, that oblation, this demigods of Pitraloka, they take and they hand over to them. So that benefit goes to that particular soul wherever is there. They have a perfect account of it. So that's the answer, Mataji. Hope that understands.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then Hare Krishna. Then why do they say if you don't give, they will be in hungry? And this is for our 1 year is equal to 1 day for them.
Correct.
Then why is it told like that? Is it wrong, or how is it, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's like the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself set an example that we should do Pitrayagya. He did his Pitra Shraddha, Father Shraddha, and so there's a responsibility of Putra is to deliver his father. So that is why it said that. So like many times it said that suppose one day if I don't get food, it said that this day my ancestors, I mean descendants somewhere, they didn't offer oblation. That's why I didn't get it. So this, the demigods of Pitraloka, they will ensure that you are given. Suppose one day you didn't get it, that day will not get it. So that is the point. Maybe I'll request Vijay Venga Prabhu or Mataji if there can add anything to the point. Yes, Prabhu. Vijay Venga Prabhu, could not hear you. Muted.
He's on mute. We can't hear. Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can't hear you. Vijay Venu Prabhu.
Can't hear.
Now we can hear.
Hare Krishna, you can hear now?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying was that this is actually a complicated issue which is not explained in any of these by anyone properly. That how do we say that they will starve if you don't give? So one of the things we have to see is that what we are offering is we are offering tila, and it is said that that their food is this black till and water. This is what they eat. So now this black till and water, if the person has taken another body, then obviously this is not his food. So perhaps that this is only if he has not got another body, maybe then he needs it. Okay, suppose he's there somewhere, he's not yet got another body for whatever reason, he's in some loka where you don't get food, then this could be the thing. Now I cannot tell you authentically, but this is what I can understand, what comes logically to me. So more than that, instead of saying okay this and that, what we do is it is more for us that we do. That means we, out of gratitude, we do this. Okay, out of gratitude we do this these karmas. Okay, that is the reason why we do it. And the options are also, they will also give you the option that if you do this Gaya Shraddham once, then afterwards you don't have to do again. So all these things are there. And as far as devotees are concerned, we have direct, the ritual for us is that you offer food to Krishna, then you offer it to him directly. So instead of doing Tilitarpana, you can also do that. So all these options are there. It's a complex issue. So better we just feel gratitude and we do these things, whatever we want to do. Either we do Tilitarpana, like I do Tilitarpana because my brothers, my sister particularly, my brother and I, we are ready that, okay, we can follow this ISKCON way. But my sister says, no, if you do like that, then I will do myself separately. So we don't want that. So therefore, I do Talitarpana. I'll do it for my mother, my father, and so on. Like that, I do all those things. My brother. So that is going on. Talitarpana for my mother and father. Basically, for these two, I do. And I do it to satisfy my sister. Otherwise, if it was not for that, I would be just offering prasadam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to add to whatever Prabhu had said. So now this verse is about single-pointed attention to Krishna. Now we have to really test what is the single-pointed attention to Krishna. Single point means one single point. But what happens is, actually, the reality is for us, our one single point is me. Okay? Okay, on paper we will say for Krishna, but the question is, if you're a pure devotee, then it is really Krishna. If you're an impure devotee, then for different percentages and at different points in time, the attention is towards us. So, how do we, keep on catching ourselves on making the point Krishna? So, one or two things I was thinking of. One is that everything which you do, you check who's going to get pleasure out of it, me or Krishna. Who's going to get more pleasure out of it, me or Krishna, or other people? So, if you are going to get as much pleasure, or you are going to get more pleasure than Krishna or other devotees, then you can be pretty sure that the single point is divided. Okay, that it is for you. So every day you try to do something. Okay, as a practice, every day you try to do something which will give pleasure to others and to Krishna, but not to you. Okay, something which will not give you pleasure, but it will give pleasure to Krishna and others. Then that will be a practice. So that what happens is, after some time you'll realize it feels so nice, and then you'll do more of it. And the other part on the opposite side of the spectrum is when we actually give unhappiness to others. That means we behave in such a way that we feel happy, but others feel unhappy at what we did. So we have to constantly make sure that when we are doing something, is it making the other person unhappy, or is it making Krishna unhappy? In that case, don't do that, even if it gives you pleasure. So then the point goes more towards Krishna than towards yourself. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, any other comments?